Hello, this is Tricia with Nex-Tech. We wanted to welcome you to the fastest 16 minutes in technology today. We're going to be talking about our app for our security and surveillance systems for your home and business. So for that, we have Nate Rolleder, our security expert here at Nex-Tech, along with Steve Riot to co-host with him today and explain a little bit about that to you. Just a reminder that your phones are all muted, and if you have any questions, please enter them in the panel at the right side. We will answer all of the questions at the end of the 16 minutes. With that, I'll let Nate and Steve go. Thanks a lot.
Great. Thank you, Tricia. And like you said, we have Nate Rolleder, our security expert, with us today. And so I'm going to be taking you on a little bit of a tour along with Nate's specifics on all of the great things that our security can offer and along with all of the great apps that we have with it. But to start it off, first of all, let me tell you, I took a couple of these snapshots off of my own system here, and this is just a web portal. So you just go to a web address, which I just went to, Total Connect. What is that, Nate?
TotalConnect2.com is the website that you will use to log into your security system. On the screen here, you see the main login screen, username, password. So your system is protected. So as long as you've got the correct credentials, you can log into your system.
All right, and pretty straightforward. And of course, our systems are powered by Honeywell, so this isn't just a Nex-Tech thing. This is a partnership that we have with Honeywell. Is that what we deploy pretty much across the board for the intrusion prevention or intrusion product?
Honeywell Adimco products would be our primary line for security intrusion equipment, alarm-type systems.
All right. So when I logged into my system, this was the next screen that came up. Can you take us on a little bit of a tour of what's on the screen here and how it kind of looks at a customer? And I want to point out, too, that this isn't just residential. This is businesses, too. And you'll kind of show us around some of the advanced functions that a business would have.
So as you can see here on the screen, the Total Connect 2.0 web portal, once you would log in, there are several panes. You can see your event rules and notifications, videos, and security there at the bottom. But this main page is where you're going to move around and see different functions or features of your system. So the event rules and notifications that you can see there on the screen, you can tell that we are logged into Steve's system at his house in the top right corner. So you can always see your location. You can see when he took this snapshot, the current temperature was 25 degrees and a general forecast there. So it kind of gives you an idea of weather. So if you're on vacation, you're checking back in, you can see what it's doing at your location. But within your events, rules, and notifications, you can see recent events. So you can see when the system was armed, disarmed, if a sensor was faulted, or an alarm type event had occurred. You could see the time. You can see panel user information. So if Steve disarmed his system, or if a significant other employee that has a different panel user number, you can track all of that information, see exactly when that was, when that time took place. You can add notes to it. You can lock events. So if you need to keep events as a history, to go back and look at a later time, bring up with an employee why they were coming in after hours, you can do that there.
All right. And I had that video there this morning. There's a little bit of snow on the front porch, so it was definitely a lot of video. But I also clicked in on the users, and of course I'm one of the key users here, and I had set this up. I put my own picture in there, which is no problem. I set up the usernames and all that good stuff. Of course, I blanked out the passwords, but I set up everything so that it would email me different alerts that I had set up. Now, I know that you can set up on SMS too, but this is where I can allow access and different things for the different users, right?
Yes, this is a very easy way to add users to your system. Administrative rights to your primary account holder, add employees, spouses, if it's a residential. This is where you can go in and add users, give them which rights that they are allowed to do. Set up notifications, so if there is an alarm, you can receive a text message. In Steve's case here, he will receive an email of different events. So this is an easy way to add and remove users for your system.
Awesome. And then, of course, the last piece that I had here was you can see the users down at the bottom. And again, these panes kind of shift up and down, so it's apologize. It's not an easy way to look at this whole screen, but down at the bottom you can see my wife's, she's a user and I'm the user. But I think you were telling me this is where I could add somebody that's clean the house, somebody that's going to watch the kids, those kind of things, and temporarily add them, temporarily disable them, those kind of things.
Yeah, the panes do toggle or minimize. So on the top left, you can minimize those, open up. Here's where you could add locations. So if you are a business owner that has multiple locations, you can manage it from one online portal. So if you've got 2 different locations, you can toggle between the locations. Add users or see your users that are enrolled in the system, and say you have a temporary staff, you want to add them to the system. You can simply click here. You can see Jennifer Riot is listed there, and she's got a green bar below. We could toggle that, and it would turn red, and her system code would be disabled out of the system. So you don't have to completely delete her information out of the system. You can just disable it temporarily.
All right, and then the other thing I was thinking here, too, is that if you're away or maybe you have an employee that shows up to work early, you can disarm the system remotely via this panel. And you can see that disarm button sitting right up there at the top, so pretty straightforward. And then, of course, the other panel that was in there, too, is you can see the individual sensors that are available on the system, which you can see those there. You can see the regular key panel, just like you would maybe in your house. It's just a remote view of that, so I put that in there, too. The other thing that I have is I have one of the Z-Wave panels, which we can get more detail into a later topic, but the Z-Wave panel allows you to remotely log into on the network to pull all of the functions. So if you have your temperature control, that different lights, those kind of things, it's just a touch screen involvement. You just go to the IP. That's when you're on the network. So really, any computer on the network can then become a security panel if you want it to be, right?
Yep, this is really basically on the go, on the move, anywhere you're at. The interface is flexible. It's mobile. You can log into it, control automation, door locks, lights, set up schedules, to turn on and off lights or do random schedules.
Excellent. And then I had to bring up the mobile app, which really is almost the exact same thing, maybe a little bit simpler. I have the shown here on, looks like maybe an iPhone 4, but this will work with what different phones?
BlackBerry, Android, iPhone, iPad, and any web addressable device. So basically, you can see that the interface is very similar. You have the same look and feel throughout the different interfaces, whether you're accessing it from the web, from an iPhone, an iPad. All of the interfaces are very similar. So it really allows you to have access to your system wherever you are, whenever.
And I know that my wife really likes this because she may leave the house, forget to arm the alarm, gets to work, just quickly hits her phone app, quickly arms the alarm, or see if she did arm the alarm. The other thing is that if you would get a notification of the alarm system going off, I know that we had one here at Nex-Tech here over the last weekend. Well, it happened to be a motion sensor in the deep corner, and that was the only motion sensor that went off. We're not really sure why it went off, but the key thing was we were able to log into the system, see that it was just a motion sensor, and then really tell everybody to not be that alarmed about it. Now, if it continued to go off, maybe it's something we need to look at. I had something rolling around here in the office, but it wasn't that big a deal. Then I showed the events list, so if you want to know when the lights were turned on, the thermostat adjusted, all those different things that can be automated both in the office or in the home. You can do that via the room.
Yeah. Here's, you can see exactly when an employee logged in or logged out. So if they are leaving, closing up the office for the day, you can see exactly what time they're locking up the system. If they come back in after hours, check in on kids, make sure they made it home after school. There's a lot of features that this can be used for.
Excellent. And plus, I get SMS or email alerts on that too, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So switching gears just a little bit, we've talked a little bit about surveillance. It can be integrated into that physical alarm system, or it could be a completely separate unit. One of the things that we've done is I've put up a screen here of a system that had a whole bunch of cameras, but it can be as small as, what, one camera? It's scalable up to hundreds of cameras, right?
That's correct. We've got systems out today that are used for single camera use, as well as large-scale monitoring hospitals and nursing home applications that have many cameras. So here you see a general interface that allows you to view multiple cameras at once, live view, remote view. So if you're not on site, you can remote view and see all of your cameras remotely.
And then if you can arrange those however you want, show a bigger screen, a smaller screen, all that other stuff too, right?
Yes, you can customize the interface to view a single camera, multiple cameras, rotating views of cameras or different views. So if you have a set of outdoor cameras, they can be on an outdoor view. Entryway cameras can be set on an indoor view. Corridors. So it's very customizable to the needs of the user.
And I didn't go into a lot of depth, but obviously you can see past recordings, see when motion was detected and all that stuff. We don't want to get quite that deep in the 16-minute overview. But of course, this is web-enabled, no client required, so if you just had access to somebody else's computer, you can quickly log in, check your surveillance, quickly log out. You don't have to be on your computer to do that, right?
That's correct.
All right. But of course, we have the mobile apps, which is tablet-based, which can be Android or iPad-type apps, also the cell phone apps that would pretty much give us the same abilities.
Pretty much on the go, you can have basic live view capabilities, pull up video recordings, and general setting changes there. But really, anywhere you want to be, and you can log into your system. So if you're on a business trip, want to check in on employees, or you receive a phone call that something's going on at your location, you want to log into it, you can pull it up from anywhere in the world.
Excellent. Now, this one's kind of a busy view for sure, but I wanted you to tell a quick story about one of our customers that had an outdoor yard, which obviously they couldn't protect with motion sensors because it's outdoors, so animals and things can roam through that. But they wanted to protect their merchandise, so they used something like this to alert them when there's motion inside of a contained area. Is that right?
Yes. This area here, you can go in and customize. Might be a little bit tough to see on the screen, but you can see that the image is broken out into little squares or a graph, and a darker or a light blue selection at a door. So basically you can set perimeters. If movement crosses through that section, you can receive notifications, and it would be a certain percentage of those pixels or those boxes would have to change. And so you can receive notifications if a person is moving into you can basically create a digital fence or a digital area in your image to be notified. So if somebody moves into that area or activity takes place, you receive text message or email notifications. You can also go in and see if there's missing objects. So if you have a piece of artwork or a valuable item in your business, you can create a box around that. If that item shows up missing, you receive a notification of that. Also can be customized as well to if a camera becomes disconnected or you're having trouble connecting to a camera, you can receive notifications so you can alert a technician to check into the situation of why maybe a camera has become disconnected from the system.
And I got to be honest, this passes the grandma test too, because my mom can manipulate this and get around to it too. So it's relatively easy. Just drop down boxes, not a lot of things to mess up here, right?
Very user-friendly interface. Takes a couple minutes to get in there and play around with it. And once you get the basic features down, and it's very easy to use.
All right. And then, of course, the mobile version of the surveillance piece, which we already talked about, the email, SMS. You may even if you want messages being Skype, I think we can get that done too, which is kind of interesting. But the background picture to this that I put down there was you can tell what you want emailed, what you want texted, what you want to do on your mobile devices. You can tell exactly how you want to be alerted. So if you don't want to be alerted for everything, just certain things, lots of granularity to that, and of course, you will help them set that up, right, Nate?
Yes, the technicians do a great job of finding out, asking the right questions, knowing how deep we need to get and drill down. So we can customize it to your needs and wants. And it's just a very nice, easy, user-friendly system to use.
And as always, we've hit our 16 minutes, so we're dead on this morning. And Tricia, I'm getting ready to turn it back over. I see one question out there for you. And the question looks like, from a standpoint of how are, using these mobile clients, when I get an email, what's the email tell me?
Basically, you can set it up to alert you if it's a security system, defaulted zone. For instance, opened up the shed door this morning on my personal system to grab a snow shovel, forgot to close the shed door up tight, and just received a notification that the wind has blown the shed door open. So I can drill down as far as the exact zone or camera on the system that's maybe it's detecting motion within an area.
Now also on the surveillance, I get an image of what it saw, right?
Yes, you can set it up to take a snapshot and send a snapshot of that camera.
So pretty straightforward. I can know who was in there, or at least get a quick image, and then I can log in and see what they're continuing to do, right? Yep. All right, Tricia, so I'm turning it over to you.
Great. I have a question on the board here. It says, can you remote view different sites or locations at the same time since we have multiple locations?
Yes, you can have different servers at different locations, and they can be piggybacked so that they are a single login. You can select your server or cameras that you want to see, or you can log in directly to the server. It's just a setup within the system and the settings that the technician can set up with you.
So a couple clarifying points on that, Nate. So the technician would set this up from a single pane of glass. So from my iPhone, from my computer, I can see maybe 3 of my locations, all their cameras, all at the same time, depending on the number of quality cameras, right?
That's correct.
And then I can also go back in time and view recordings at those different sites too.
That's correct.
So really, even though I have 3 different physical locations, I'm able to see what's going on all from one pane of glass. Kind of a CSI type thing right there, right?
That's correct.
All right. Tricia?
That's all of our questions that we have on here for today. I do want to remind everybody that on February 14th will be our next webinar for Tech Talk, and we're going to have representatives on the phone with us from ShoreTel. So bring your questions, really drill them, do whatever you need to ask them the honest questions. And the webinar is going to be about the business phone's crystal ball. Will it still be on your desktop, in a few years or not? And then the next fastest 16 minutes in technology will be on February the 27th. And we'll be discussing the future of the mobile office. So we hope you all can join us for that. And you can always log into nextech.com/free webinar to sign up for any of those webinars. If that's everything, we will go ahead and end this webinar. Thank you for attending.
Thanks, Tricia.